Well, hi, and thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to everyone, and a big welcome. This is our first live, so we're very excited. You're going to have to bear with us because I think, like everything you do in life, the first time you do it, there is a learning curve to go through. So enjoy. So this is the launch of our new In Conversation With series. And this is where we're going to be shining the light on leading entrepreneurs. And we're going to hear from them how they started their business, what drives them, what makes them tick, hear about what they've learnt along the way, some of the big wins, the tough times. And they're going to share with us some of their advice and what it takes to start a business, and to share with us some of their learning curve, because we all know that when you're starting a business, it's really hard, and the more advice you can get, the better it is, and there you learn along the way. Now I can see we've got so many of you joining us, so thank you so much. Josephine Home, I can see you've come on, so that's great. Please request to join us. We're going to be talking to Stephanie Betts today. Stephanie is the founder of Josephine Home. Here we go. So, Stephanie into the room, and Stephanie is the founder of Josephine Home. Aha, here
Hello.
she is.
Hello.
Hi, Stephanie, and how
Hello,
are you?
everyone. Very good, thank you. Quite interesting after our session last night where we went live without knowing, and now we're trying to go live and can't know how to do it, but hey, we got there.
welcome to the 21st century, Steph, isn't it?
Oh,
So we're looking slightly different from last night, where we were doing a tech practice and we didn't know anybody was watching, and we thought we were going completely incognito, and we must have had about, I don't know, 10, 15 people all waving at us. So, we've just had Computer Fitness. Hi there, Sylvie. Nice to see you. Thank you for waving. Just going to wave back. And we've got loads of you on, so thanks so much.
great.
So Steph, I was just explaining, this is our first live, so it's going to be a fun experience.
I
And
know.
this is the launch of our new In Conversation With. It's a series where we're going to be shining the spotlight on various entrepreneurs. And we all know what it feels like when you start a business. It's really tough. So to
Yep.
hear from someone like you know, what drives you, what makes you tick, what have you learned along the way? Share with us some of the tough times, some of the big wins. These are all great things which are going to help us with building and growing our own business. Now,
Okay.
today we're really lucky. We've got you, Stephanie Betts, founder of Josephine Home. And I know you're an incredibly modest person, but this is a multi-award winning British brand offering beautiful, gorgeous, luxury and bespoke bed linen and homewares. And Steph, it's great to have you live, and so nice to see so many people joining us. And so what I wanted to do was to kick off and ask you to tell us more about Josephine Home. What makes it so special?
Right. So first of all, I'll start by saying I've got every single reason to be modest. So, don't be swayed by anything that Sarah very kindly says about us. But yeah, and the business is actually very different from me, even if I set it up. And I think that's probably one of the key learnings is that your business will take a life of its own. So it's very important to give it, good roots, to give it strength, to give it a really strong vision, and make that vision to drive everything that you do. And in terms of what makes us special, probably in our segment as to what we do, in a weird way, I'd say we don't really sell, bed linen. I feel like we sell more happiness. We sell happy moments. We help people create happy moments within the little moments of every day that you might not notice otherwise, but which I find make all the difference through your day. So, you've had a long day, you want to go back into your sheet and you go, oh, you get to have that feeling that it's just fantastic, it's crisp, it's lovely, it feels enveloping and loving and welcoming. And this is what we work on, is those, everyday's little heroes. That's really what we do.
Love that, little heroes. And what better right now than to have a decent night's sleep, isn't it? And so tell us, tell us how you started Josephine Home, and what was your inspiration?
So the inspiration, very briefly, was actually dual. It was initially mainly my grandmother, who had just the most amazing house, but very sort of, she was very linked to nature. Everything had to be natural, sustainable, etc. So she was way ahead of her time. She'll be 115 now, probably. She's probably having a good laugh right now, but well, listening to me, not seeing what's happening. But she probably was wiser than a lot of us. You know, this was a different generation. So I certainly inherited that gene of sort of trying to stay close to nature, trying to stay close to what makes sense, but really making products that make a big difference to your life. And so the other inspiration is when I moved to England and I literally fell asleep with, fell asleep, see. I fell in love with the country, with the craftsmanship, and Savile Row was a major, major inspiration, because what it did is it brought home to me the concept of a very understated luxury, which is not French. The French not necessarily that understated with the luxury. And if you look at Chanel and Hermes, it's smart, but you know. And I think that I like the understatement, but I like the idea of the smooth and the rough, the difference in fabrics, the tweeds and the shiny line, you know, sort of silk lining. I like all of that, the yin and yang, and I like the gender fluidity that our brand really has. And the second really important thing is to bring a sense of finishing, a sense of detailing, which is very, very obvious in Savile Row, very obvious in couture houses as well. But it's really what we try to bring to the bedlinen and homeware segment, which we feel is not really there, was never there. So for us, that was the big excitement, is to bring that couture finishing, that uber luxury, but really in an understated, qualitative, sustainable way. And 15 years ago, sustainable was nowhere near as cool as it is now. Nobody cared, but well, not many people. But for us, it's always been part of the package. So we didn't really talk about it that much. We thought we'd give it to people for free. It's part of what we do.
Yeah, brilliant. And didn't you have to go and present to Vogue House? Was that how you got started?
Oh yeah, so that yeah, so that was a big part of how we started. We started with a coffee at home with a few friends. I was on maternity leave, thinking, oh, I can't spend 6 months doing nothing. Little did I know, and little did I know it was be Tristan as well. So that was busy. But like any new parents realize, you know, like what would I do with my life before I had the child? So I wanted everything to be ready. I had this idea for a long, long time. I had the idea when I was about 16. So I kept this idea for a long time. I kept watching the market, seeing, trying to find, you know, whether anyone else had done what I wanted to do. And I really still couldn't find it. And I was by then coming up to my mid-30s, and I thought, fine, I've got to do this now or never. And I took the jump. So from that coffee morning at home, which was super successful, I remember trying to shoo the last one out of the house at 2 a.m. It started at 9. We were absolutely bushed, but we had a brilliant day. But one key thing happened is one of my very best friends from NCT was at the time working at Vogue House, and was running she was the publisher for House and Garden, couldn't make it. And she said, Steph, why don't you come and do a sale at Vogue House? And I thought, what a brilliant idea. And then I started to panic, thinking, no, I can't really come and talk to all these people and sell everything. But I'll happily do a bit of a show, and I'll happily get their feedback. So we decked out their beautiful boardroom, which is really stunning, all in black and white portraits. It was magic. And then we had blossoms all the way to the ceiling. We had flowers everywhere, candles. All my girlfriends were hired as a entourage just to help and look after all the editors. It was just magical. And I still have the glow of that day. It was just really special. And I think that's what gave us the impetus to keep going, or to get started rather, because they all said, we've never seen anything like it. It's understated, it's smart. And at the time, nobody did the piping. We've been copied a lot, obviously, but the real thing is with us, because we don't just do the piping and the look. We focus on the feel. We focus on the experience. We focus on the longevity. All our products are tested by laundry engineers to make sure they'll go through 250 washes without a glitch. And because we've been looking after people like Soho House and Mandarin Oriental in the early days to just test our product, you know, this was necessary for me to do that as an ex-lawyer, which was my old background. I just wanted to sleep easy and make sure everything was fine. And it's been a great advantage to have that, because we're very, very confident now when we sell products that we have no returns. I mean, our returns are below 1%, below 0.5%. They're probably 0.2%. I mean, nothing. People return products to us if there's like a mismatch in color or something. You know, it doesn't work in their room, or it's the wrong size, but we've got no returns based on quality, none.
Gosh,
so that's quite exciting.
I love the idea of a coffee morning that starts at 11 and goes on to 2 a.m.
Yeah, I
And
know.
it's,
I know.
uh, can I come
Well,
to your next coffee morning?
yeah, yeah,
When we're out of
definitely.
lockdown, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, we should
And
do that again. It's and it's a nice way to connect with people. It's a nice way to get a feedback, and it's not to sell. I think people like to connect and share their views about how they feel about, how they sleep, what they like. And one of the things we decided is like the important thing is to give it back to you, to give it back to other people. How I sleep might be different from how you sleep, Sarah. And some people like to read in bed. You need to have a different bedscape. You need to help them create the perfect environment for them. Because I look at the bed as a lovely place where all things happen, but equally, it's also your sort of charging pod. It needs to work for you. It needs to be the perfect fit for you. How heavy is your blanket or your duvet? How warm are you? Do you like to have your feet tucked in or tucked out? We've got a special tail that goes underneath the mattress so you don't lose your duvet in the night, because husbands like to take it off because they like to hang their feet out and open all the windows. And how firm do you like your pillow? All these sort of things really matter for the perfect sleep. So it's really like a sleep concierge, which is, what we've called our service. It's the sleep concierge to help you make it perfect for you.
love that concept. And it's so interesting, isn't it, that if you think how much of your life you spend in bed,
Yeah.
it is terribly important to get it right. And we all know what a bad night's sleep does for
Does
us.
to you. It drives you mad. It drives you absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
And I think if you remember, so for me, the whole idea happened when I was a young lawyer. I was literally deprived of sleep for like days, weeks. It was driving me nuts. And I was obsessed with sleep. And I became obsessed with sleep, obsessed with good sleep. So when I had
Mm.
children, it was like, okay, let's keep on that trend. And it's never, it's kind of never left me. One of our shareholders, brilliant, and she had this great insight. And she said, look, if you're not in your bed, you're in your shoes. You need to spend on both. You need to spend on good shoes and great linen,
I've
because
heard that. I've heard that line before as well. It's so true, isn't
it's
it?
good.
You need to invest in those two things because you're either in one or the other,
I think,
and
yeah, and I think people look at, I think for a long time we've been buying, people have been, how can I say, derating the sort of importance of linen. But in the olden days, like the Louis XIV and all that, you'd get a trunk, and in the trunk, when you got married, your wedding trousseau was your bed linen and some silverware. It was that important. Fine linen was protected in special cupboards.
mm,
And we've lost that. See, my granny still had that. And we wanted to bring that to the modern world, not make it old fashioned and fuddy duddy, but make it modern. And I now have feedback from friends who said they've bought every single brand, which I won't name because I think it's unfair, and they said after 10 years, they run their finger through their covers, and ours is the only one that's still not only white, but smooth and feels amazing after 10 years. So it takes 10 years. It took 10 years for us to really know how good the product was.
yeah. So just to let you know, we've got some lovely comments coming on. Really nice comment here from someone who says, "Love your products and love what you stand for."
Thank you.
So
Thank
you've got
you.
some fans
Oh, that's
watching
so
us now.
exciting. Thank you.
So just quickly, back to the journey. Tell us how the brand and the business has evolved since that maternity leave in those early days.
Okay, so that's why I'm going to be brutally honest, and I don't normally say that to normal interviews, but this is not a normal interview, and now is not a normal time. Um, and to be really, really honest, the biggest thing for me was instinct. You have to trust your instinct. And I always thought, well, I'm a really instinctive person. I create stuff. I just follow my heart. All very good. I managed to impose my stamp on the business from the start, like the branding, what we stood for, everything. But as we started to grow and we started to get people on board, advisors, very senior people, very important people with like big, big reputations and I mean, big track record, then they all said, oh, you can't sell online. It will never work. Your product is too exceptional. You got to feel it to believe it. Okay. And then we tried. And then they wanted us to go into all big department stores. So we've been at Harrods, we've been at Lane Crawford in Hong Kong, we've been at Takashimaya in Singapore. We looked at going into Saks and Bloomingdale's in New York. I mean, we've looked at everything. And that was never for us. So the interesting bit, which is the crux of that story, is we were offered a fair amount of money by an investor to invest in the business and help us roll this out worldwide. And the whole idea was like, brilliant, we're going to go into 50 department stores in the world. Do I don't know, Kat Kidston or whatever, Ralph Lauren or whatnot. And do you know what? we had the offer. We fought really hard to get the offer. And I remember I was in our TV room. It's quite emotional. I looked at my husband. I said, I'm sorry, honey, I can't do it. We're not going to do this. You sure? I'm like, I don't feel it. I know it's wrong. This will kill our business. If we do this, I think this could kill our business. It's just not our soul. It's not us. I don't feel the connection. I don't feel the love when I go to department store. They're mostly empty. And I've been to Tokyo, Hong Kong. I mean, I've been everywhere just to look around and check out what's going on in the department store before we put our brand there. And I felt, no, there's no footfall. And actually, when the people come, it just feels a bit empty. The experience is not there. So that was a saving grace. And that was about 4 and a bit years ago. And that's when I decided, okay, well, I'm going to be the big daddy then. I'm going to go back to the city and I'll support my own business myself. And that was the idea. So, but it was a long road. So I think some people can have a more straightforward journey. And my learning from all of this is, as we now had to pivot really hard when COVID hit, and that's the chapter of our business that's not been written yet, that's just starting. And I'm so excited in a way, because as much as the environment and everything that's going on around us is terrible, for me, in a way, I looked at the team and I said, okay, guys, today's the day. It's pedal to metal. We've got to really embrace online. We got to learn how to do it properly. We got to do it really seriously and ignore the naysayers who say a brand like ours can't flourish online. And we've got to learn how to engage with our customers, with our followers, with our advocates online, but in a really meaningful way. So we've come back full circle. When I set it up 15 years ago, I wanted it to be primarily an online business, which was sustainable. And funnily enough, now is a really good time to do that. It took us a while, but I don't consider that all the steps we've taken in between have necessarily been a problem. I mean, yes, it's taken longer and more effort, but we've learned a lot of lessons along the way. And I think this is the thing in a corporate journey. You've got to be prepared to take a few knocks, but make sure you learn something every time you go through all of these movements. And I think for me, it was like, well, listen to your instinct, because it's damn right. And then if it doesn't work, you can blame yourself. But it's really important to have the strong vision of your business and actually not deviate, and just really say, this is the soul of my business. This is what we stand for. This is what we do. So we've done that well in terms of building the roots of the brand. So we tested a lot of things. We've been through a lot of moments. And I think the example I'll give to people, which has helped me at many, many crossroads, is that brands like Chanel or Hermes do things differently. And I thought, you know what, if it's not right for them, it's not right for me. And at the crossroad, when you wonder whether to launch a product or do something, I always remember this anecdote from Chanel, where they had put 2 years or 3 years in development of one perfume. And the day before the launch, somehow the top of the bottle, the cabochon, didn't make the right click. They just pulled it out.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. So I thought, that's the way I'm always ever going to run this business. So yeah, product development takes time. But what it means is when the product is out and it reaches your home, you know that it's been tested with that sort of determination.
Yeah. And on that note, love this comment from Sylvie. Love the tail on the duvet.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
So,
not many people know that. It's quite fun because actually it's a French tail, so it looks like a bottleneck. And then you put your duvet through that, and then you tuck it under the mattress. Thank you, Sylvie. I always forget to mention about it, and people get it. So what's that flap for? What's that all about? And actually, it's one of our best features because it makes the end of your bed really neat, and it means you don't have silly buttons that keep falling in the wash and irritating you. Thank you, Sylvie.
Very good. Thanks for that, Sylvie. And I guess for anyone that's tuning in, how can they find you? And if they want to buy your products or learn more about your products, well, what's the best place to go to, Stephanie?
I think anything from, online, obviously, josephinehome.co.uk, and Instagram is a good way to engage with us as well. It's the best way. We've actually retreated from all the big department stores, so a few years ago now, because we felt we just wanted a more direct engagement with our customer. And it's brilliant, the feedback we get, and we learned a lot, and we found out what matters for them, what they love, what they prefer, so it's a much, much, much better environment. And also we can service people better. We can help people better. We've got people on the phone, and bizarrely, at a time where everybody's going online, I want to bring a bit of personal service. So we want people on the phone really advising you, like our sleep concierge is really helping you choose your product, helping you with your Christmas shopping, which initials, which wording, which color, what looks better, what size would work for you, all these sort of things. We're here for you. So you should have a luxury shopping experience just by calling us on the phone, going online, pinging us an email, either or, we're there for you. So for me, that level of service is very important.
Fabulous, thank you. And the great news for Really Helpful Club members is that if you make a purchase of Josephine Home, I think you all you have to do is go onto the website or make the call, as Stephanie has said, and then when you get to the checkout, you will be eligible for a whopping great 25% off your first order.
All we never give that.
Thank you for that, Stephanie. That's so generous. Very and that's 25% off your first order by putting in RHC25. So please don't forget to do that, because that is just such a lovely thing to do, and I think a great way to start your experience with the brand. So look, you've talked a bit about instinct. I couldn't agree with you more. What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learnt since starting your business?
I would say truthfulness is really, really important. Whatever your business stands for, there's something true at the heart of your business. There's something true about your initial vision. This is what you have to stick to, like glue. And a lot of people will say, okay, cash is king. Yes. But instinct sometimes can trump cash. Instincts will bring the cash, so you have to manage and balance these two things. And you have to find your quiet place as an entrepreneur, talking about the people sort of trying to keep it all together, trying to find a balance and a place of peace where you can make those decisions unhurried. Sometimes you have to make decisions very quickly, but as long as they come from a place of truthfulness, everything is fine. You might get 80% right, 20% wrong. The 20% wrong, say, sorry, we were wrong there, but we've changed it. I think people nowadays want transparency, honesty, integrity, proper value. And I think we're rediscovering the values of, as you and I were talking about earlier on, sort of enduring beauty, enduring quality, something that gives you a thrill, not something that's been done, God knows where, but, and who knows how, but also that's going to end up in landfill in 2 years' time. You want things that, if you're going to spend the same amount of money, why wouldn't you go for something that is sustainable, made with love, and that will give you joy at every moment of the day? And I'm not talking just about a product. I'm talking about the whole movement of British manufacturers, companies, beauty products, everything that really put a lot of heart and soul into their business, into their product development, but into the whole life cycle of the product. And it means you get a good conscience, and you're contributing also you're doing your bit for what's happening now for the environment. We're going to have to change a lot of the things and behaviors that we have, and a lot of the things that we do. So I really think that everybody should consciously now start looking for the brands that fit for them in the various stages of their lives, and obviously at home, delighted to help being part of that journey for people. We want to be a good cop on this one.
Exactly. And everyone always thinks, being an entrepreneur is easy. What do you think is the hardest thing?
God, the hardest thing, actually, it's time. The hardest thing is time. Is the time sometimes away from family, friends, even from your colleagues who feel, I don't have enough time with her or with him. That's really the thing. So it's really managing your time, which has not been necessarily my big thing, because I get so involved into the creative bit sometimes that, you get a bit carried away. But it's really time, because what comes with creating a business is joy. The joy is unbelievable. The highs are unbelievable. Someone writes you an amazing review. We all talk about it. You see them coming through. Some people write us letters, write us notes, or say, my husband's never talked about linen in 30 years, and here we are. We get children writing us notes, and with little drawings of them asleep. I mean, you get all sorts of things, all sorts of amazing rewards from people all over the world. It's great. And then we look after some really kind of high profile client, if you want, but we never wanted the brand to rely just on that. So you get these high, someone super famous has ordered an enormous thing, and the boxes are filling your entire office. Yeah, that's a high. It's fun. But for us, the big high is people every day just connecting with us. It's been brilliant. I mean, I had someone who said to me the other day, if you ever decide to not continue this business, I've already told my husband we need to buy out your entire warehouse. I will never want to be without your linen. I was like, okay.
That's fabulous, isn't it?
All right. So, we get this stuff, and then we get things like, we had some really good comments from, I think it was How to Spend It. It was Richard on their post who called us the Chanel number 5 of bed linen. So, these things like that, they make your journey rewarding, or you get odd calls from weird celebrities. We had, I think it was the drummer of Guns N' Roses who called us one morning on Boxing Day. We were all in bed. And I was like, surely you're joking. I thought it was someone playing a prank on us, until I realized it was true, and he was calling from LA. And we've kept the conversation going since. So, we're going to do stuff with him. It was just brilliant. Next thing I know, he's tweeting all his friends, these cool hard rock guys. And I was like, wow, we officially become a cool brand. But it's fun. You get all sorts of fun moments like that.
That's a fantastic dine out story, isn't it? And I just, sort of final question really is, as you've already said, we live in extraordinary times. This time last year, could anyone have predicted what on earth 2020 was going to bring for us? And you'll have gone through, your own journey, but what do you see as a future for your own business, and perhaps more widely for businesses in general, given what you've gone through in, say, the last 6-8 months?
I think this crisis will have brought us much more together. I think it's highlighted the human side of everybody, and the human side of every business, the very important human side of every business, how you can't underestimate the importance of the people you rely on every day, the people working with you, their, well-being, mental health. Everybody is trying to cope in the best they can. So I think in a way that whole crisis has made us more human, but also more aware, I hope more discerning. And what I hope is it will also have given some people an enormous dose of courage to get out there and do the right thing and do their own thing. And I think we'll see a lot of great new businesses popping out. People always say in funny times, this is when you get the best ideas. People say, maternity, you're about to give birth, you just, don't know what else to do. And this is when all your ideas come from, and it's really strange. But I really think this moment is kind of like a very pregnant pause again for people. And we'll see some amazing businesses, I'm convinced of it, coming out of this that will change our lives and improve them.
Stephanie, thank you so much. We've taken half an hour of your valuable time away from you, but we've had so many people join. We've had some lovely comments, lots of support for the product and the quality, and
thank you, everyone.
And what you stand for. So thank you so much for that. And I guess for me, the message that comes across so loud and clear from you is, what's so important for all of us right now is that rediscovering of the value of connection, but also the value of endearing beauty. So thank you so much, Stephanie, and to Josephine Home for keeping us asleep and enjoying our sleep. So thank you.
And all loved up. Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been great. Thank you. That was quite fun, actually. Thank you for everybody also for taking the time to join in. I really appreciate everybody. I know it's very stretched right now, and it's been great. Thank you.
Brilliant.
See you soon.
Well, if we can grab another half hour from you at some point, then we'd love to do some more and hear some more. But thanks, Steph, and to everybody that's joined us. Enjoy the rest of your day, and look forward to catching up with you again.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.